but you'll be grateful you did. If you can take that correct path more often, I think you're going to trust yourself more, you'll have higher self-esteem, and you'll definitely accomplish more quicker because you'll be doing the right things at the right time.
And that's a positive bid that stacks on a positive bid that stacks on a positive bid. One discipline leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And then you look back a couple years and it's like, holy crap, like look how far I've come.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode, number 997, last week's live Q&A. Today, for episode number 998, happy Friday, we are talking about how you are hurting your own confidence. So as you know, and you hear Alan and I say quite literally every single week, we record our episodes on Monday. And it is Monday as the time of this recording. Last night, I stayed up a little bit later than usual on a Sunday because the Celtics are in the NBA Finals, and I had some money on the game, and I wanted to see how that game would play out. And when I went to bed, I set my alarm for 5:30. And I said, Kev, you're going to get up at 5:30 and you're going to go to the gym. So when Alan and yourself get ready to record at 9 a.m., you will have all of your work done. You will have already gone to the gym. You will have a nice clean kitchen and everything's going to be wonderful. And my alarm went off at 5:30 and I said, I don't think so today. I think I'll go back to bed for another 20 minutes. Quick 20. Went to sleep for a quick 20 and then I said, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym tonight. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the gym tonight. Quick 45. So then my alarm went off at, I think it went off at, I don't know, whatever the math equates to. I ended up getting up. And yes, we're joking about it, and yes, it's funny, but I didn't feel very good. I felt very bad about myself. I felt like I let myself down again, and I told Alan, I said, I've had a little bit of trouble getting up early. I used to be the guy who would get up at 4:30 every single day, and I loved that. And it's been a challenge. And when I say I'm going to wake up at a certain time and I don't do it, I'm very, very, very frustrated with myself. A quote that Alan says often that I think is wonderful for this episode: if you had a friend who broke as many promises to you as you've broken to yourself, would you still be friends with that person? Would you value that friendship? If you're constantly and consistently breaking promises to yourself, you're not going to value yourself at a high level. You're not going to have that level of self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence. You're not going to have that level of self-trust. And that is what we were talking about today. Something behind the scenes that Alan and I talk about a lot. First of all, we quote movies. And one of the movies that we quote is Liar, Liar. Jim Carrey is in that movie. And the premise of the movie is something happens, somehow he gets a curse put on him, and he can't lie for X amount of hours. I don't know how many it is. But 24 hours. But the movie starts with him always letting his little son down. He's supposed to pick up his son to take him to a baseball game. He misses it. He's late at work. He's supposed to take him to a wrestling match. Misses it. Supposed to see his baseball game. Misses it. Imagine, and I know that's a comedy. That's a comedy with Jim Carrey, but it's a really good lesson. If you were on the other side of all those broken promises and you were supposed to show up for yourself and you never did, and you kept letting yourself down, you'd get very frustrated. You'd get very disappointed. Your self-esteem would take a hit. You wouldn't trust yourself to follow through. And I really believe it would carry through to other aspects of your life. This weekend, I set my alarm for 6:30. And so last weekend, if you're listening to this, and I said, you know what? I'm going to get up and I'm going to go do boxing. And my alarm went off, and I had that conversation. I said, I don't want to do this. But I got up, I packed my gym bag, I threw some caffeine into my water, and I went to the gym. I had an incredible workout, and the rest of my day was awesome. The rest of my Sunday was incredible because I started it off on the right foot. I started it off by upholding a promise that I had made to myself. So really, really think about that. Yes, in the moment when the alarm goes off, it sucks and you don't want to do it. But how will you feel? Think of it as it's a divergent path in the woods. If you take one path, you're probably going to feel crappy about yourself later. You're going to say, you know what? I really wish I did that. I really, really wish I did that. If you take the other path, It might suck in the moment. It might be challenging to build momentum and get up and get after it, but you'll be grateful you did. If you can take that correct path more often, I think you're going to trust yourself more, you'll have higher self-esteem, and you'll definitely accomplish more quicker because you'll be doing the right things at the right time.
When you say you're going to do something and you follow through with that, you build self-trust. You build self-esteem. You build self-respect. You build self-worth. You build self-confidence. This episode is how you're hurting your own confidence, how you're hurting your own self-esteem, how you're hurting your own self-trust, how you're hurting your own self-worth. I am far from perfect. But one thing that I spend a lot of focused effort on, conscious effort, intentional effort on, is keeping the promises that I make to myself. And I try really hard to keep the promises that I make to others. It wasn't long ago that Kevin and I hosted an event called Next Level Live, and it required more of us than we had anticipated. And Emilia had asked for certain things around the house to be going a certain way, and we had talked about it. She didn't really ask. It was kind of like, okay, let's agree to do the dishes in the evening instead of in the morning. And during Next Level Live, there was certain things that needed my attention more. I was staying up later at times and then sleeping in more at times. And because I was working these really weird hours, and then sometimes we'd have date night, and then sometimes Kevin and I would have to work late. And so I was breaking her trust a little bit. And after Next Level Live, we had a check-in. And I had said from 0 to 10, how are we doing? Like, how's everything? And she said, well, I know you were overwhelmed. I know that Next Level Live was really challenging. And so I didn't want to put this on you while you were already in the pressure cooker. But I would say probably about a 6. But don't worry, because it's headed up. Now that the event's over, I can see it heading up. But quite frankly, when all of Kevin and I's focus goes to an event, a really, really challenging thing, our relationship gets less focus, or our household gets less focus, or our business gets less focused. Obviously, Next Level Live is a part of our business. But we end up unintentionally breaking the promises that we make to ourselves, the promises that we make to our team, the promises that we make to our intimate relationship. And none of that builds trust. None of that builds confidence. None of that builds self-esteem. And so it's this weird double-edged sword of, if you set really low bars for yourself, you're not going to have self-esteem because you know it's just easy. Playing tennis against a 4-year-old, while you might win every game, you're not going to build a ton of self-esteem because it's not very challenging, unless the 4-year-old's unbelievable at tennis. But if you play against Serena Williams every time, you're going to get smoked, and you're going to always feel like crap about yourself. And so just like that, you have to set these bars that are achievable, but they also stretch you. And I have one story that articulates similar to what happened to me at Next Level Live. I had a client once who had a business, and she was trying to grow and scale her business while also working 3 other jobs. And on top of that, she was working with me. And so I had said, honestly, I feel like you're spreading yourself too thin amongst all these other jobs. Because think about this, right? 4 jobs, one of them your own business. And then on top of that, you've got your personal development, you've got your health and wellness, you've got your fitness, which is health and wellness. And then on top of that, you've got to track your finances and all these different things. So life is crazy. And if we don't have priorities, then you have friends and family as well. So you have all these promises to your friends and your family. You have all these promises to 3 other jobs. You have all these promises you've made to yourself in your own business as a solopreneur. And then you have all these promises you've made to yourself about fitness. I'm pretty sure this person was running every single day. I think she was doing like 7 miles a day or something crazy. And so I said, you really need to try to find a way to set promises that are more, I don't want to say realistic because that's a negative word, that are more achievable on the day-to-day. Be optimistic on the macro. Be optimistic in the long run. But on the day-to-day, you've got to set bars you can actually hit. And so what I said was this. I said, here's what we're going to do. Quit one of those. Which of those 4 jobs, including your business, is the least fulfilling? Which one brings you the least joy, the least growth, the least fulfillment? She said, it's this one. I said, okay, get rid of that one. And she's like, well, I'm scared. I love the people, all this stuff. I said, okay, well, what about your own business? Is your own business more or less fulfilling? She said, way more fulfilling. Oh my God. I said, see, you only have so much time. If you're investing a bunch of time and energy over here versus over here, and you're getting more out of this one, you got to get rid of that other one. And here's the other thing too. I said, which one do you make more money at? That was the kicker. She's like, I make like 4 times as much money over here. I said, okay, so get rid of that one. right? So she did. She trusted me. I really appreciated it. I said, I want you to take that extra time that you're saving, and I want you to reinvest it in doing one thing for me. And keep this promise to yourself every single day. One time per day, I want you to message and build a relationship with someone who's a potential client. And in her business, she had many that she could message. She did it for like 2.5, 3 months, and she wasn't getting that many results. And now springtime has come, and she's got more clients than she has ever had. And she since told me it felt like a struggle bus for a while there, but now I get it. And so you might be out there right now breaking small promises to yourself, like we all have done. And what we want to do is get to the next level here, which is following through even when you don't feel like it and trusting that it will be worth it. Even if you don't get the result, at least you'll get the self-esteem. At least you'll get the self-respect. I've told Emilia this, I've told Kevin this. If we lose, it is not going to be because of lack of effort on my part. It's not going to be because of lack of effort. I will do anything and everything that I can to succeed and put the team on my back every chance I get. And what I'm saying is to do that for yourself. Even if you don't get the result or don't get the clients or don't get the exact body you wanted of your dreams, at least you'll get the self-esteem that comes with I did all that I could with what I had. And so how you're hurting your own self-confidence, it's the little things each day. It's saying you're going to make your bed but not doing it. It's saying you're going to do the laundry but not doing it. It's saying you're going to, cut off the movie at 45 minutes and not doing it. It's saying you're going to set your alarm and not doing it. It's saying you're going to exercise and not doing it. That's the most common one. Of all the people I've coached all over the world, the most common promise people break to themselves is they say they're going to exercise and they don't. And as someone who just spent the last 96 days, #NLUFitPick challenge, I'm 96 days in a row of a half an hour of exercise. Now, it wasn't perfect exercise. It wasn't always weight training. It wasn't always the most intense, but I never missed a day. And I feel really good about that. Imagine how good you would feel about yourself if you said you'd exercise every day and then actually followed through. Imagine how fulfilling that would be. Now, it was super humbling. It was super challenging. It was sometimes, elbows on my knees, head between my legs, like brutal in terms of how am I going to do this? I don't have the time. But I found a way to make it work. And I'm proud of that. I'm genuinely proud of that. So the self-trust and self-respect and self-worth and self-esteem that it was built and self-confidence that was built from that. If you exercise 96 days in a row, you're going to be more confident. I don't want me to be more confident. I do, but I want you to be more confident. Kevin and I want you listeners to be more confident. And I don't say the 96-day thing because I want to brag about me. I say the 96-day thing because I want to inspire other people to realize, you can totally do that. You don't have to exercise every day if you don't want to, but whatever promises you make to yourself, you can keep them. But if you keep making 100 promises to yourself and you're not realistic on the day-to-day, but optimistic on the macro, of course you're going to let yourself down. I let myself down on writing my book sometimes. I let myself down on doing mobility sometimes. But the amount that I let myself down, think about it this way. If I make 100% of the promises I make to myself, at least 75% of those are getting done. So, and sometimes more, sometimes a little less. But generally speaking, I keep the promises I make to myself and others. I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect, but I'm getting better by 1% over the long term. And I want that for you. Kevin wants that for you.
Hello, my name is Eddie Pinero. I'm the founder of Your World Within, and I wanted to take a second and just express how valuable working with Alan has been, both personally and professionally. I think his ability to help me create clarity and maintain focus on my big picture goals has been huge. But also, and this is just as important, he's been a huge asset with the roadmap as well. The day-to-day things, the little things that we sometimes overlook. And those two things in tandem have been a huge lift and just a tremendous return on investment. And I think anyone looking to, grow themselves, grow a business or both, would truly benefit from having Alan as an ally along the way. Again, great mind, but more importantly, solid dude.
Yeah, I think we assume that it's always these big decisions, these big promises, but oftentimes it's those small things that seem minuscule and that don't matter that much. At the end of the day, So Alan and I were supposed to record until 9:30 tonight or 10, and I was going to go to the gym after. And that was going to suck, and it was going to be brutal, and it was going to Jeff tomorrow a little bit because I was going to have to get up early. But now we're not doing that, and I'll still get my workout in. My workout actually will probably be better because it's later in the day, but that's not the point. The point is I broke a promise to myself to start the day. Now, am I still going to accomplish the thing that I wanted to? Yes, but it's not in the same way. I took an L. I took a negative bid with myself to start the day, and it might seem insignificant and not important, but those add up. Just like the small things that you do in a positive manner add up. It's not, okay, I woke up today, I broke a promise to myself, everything is Jeffed and I'm a terrible person. No, that's not how it works. I broke a promise today to myself, and it's going to be easier for me to break that same promise tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day, and then that starts to change your identity of, well, I'm not showing up as the person that I said I am, so I'm just going to start breaking this other promise, and it's this whole thing, just like on the opposite. You make a promise that you're going to stop at the gym, and this is just an example, but you're going to stop at the gym on Friday after work, and you stop in, and you say, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to stop in and I'm going to sign up. That's the promise I've made to myself, and you go do it. And then you go home and you say, okay, I'm going to make myself a promise that Monday I'm going to pack my clothes and I'm going to stop there on the way home from work, and you do that. And then you do it on Tuesday, you do it on Wednesday, you do it on Thursday, you do it on Friday. If you do that for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, you have a completely different identity. You're now somebody who goes to the gym regularly after work. You pack your clothes because you're super proactive, and you've made adjustments to your diet. If you do the opposite, you probably get the opposite results. And it's just the small things, the small promises you make to yourself are way, way more impactful, way more important, and way more powerful than you believe. And if you're breaking them, you might not even see the lack of results or the undoing that you're creating. And again, to Alan's point, we are far from perfect. I wanted to be transparent and authentic in this episode and say, look, I have not been great at all at getting up when my alarm clock goes off. There was a stretch where I never, ever, ever hit snooze, ever. And now it's something that I do consistently. So I have been letting myself down. I am throwing a little bit of extra fuel onto that pain fire by talking about it here in the hopes that I will start keeping that promise to myself.
Kev, one of the barometers that I use for whether or not I'm spread too thin is how many of the promises am I breaking to myself or to Emilia or to the business. Mm. And when the percentage of promises, so here's what I would say is I'm setting and keeping more aligned promises to myself now more than I ever have in my entire life at 33 years old. But I'm also setting higher bars. And so it's that interesting conundrum that we all find ourselves in, the confidence conundrum, shout out to Kevin's confidence conundrum, where if I'm not careful about the amount of promises and whether or not, and the bars at which the level of those promises, like saying you're going to work out every day for 3 hours is a good way to feel terrible about yourself. Mm. Saying you're going to work out every day for 5 minutes might not be big enough to actually do it because it's not worth it. I don't know. Everyone has their own sweet spot, but what I would say is this, and then we'll go here. You're not going to build confidence if you're not challenged at all. But you're also not going to build confidence if you're over-challenged. And we've talked about the Drive to 5 1,000 times, but I would say Kevin and I are not perfect by any means, and we will never pretend that we are, because that's just crap, honestly. But we are better than we used to be, and that's a fact. Overall, I think in fitness, I'm definitely not, but holistically, we're better than we used to be. Mm. And we're not as good as we're going to be in a couple years. So at the end of the day, this really comes down to those 1% improvements. And the last thing I'll say here is this. If you improve by 1% per day, and James Clear talks about how one promise you keep to yourself is a vote for the type of person you want to become. What would the best version of Kevin do? What would the best version of Alan do? What would the best version of Emilia do? What would the best version of you do? The best version of you would put the dishes in the dishwasher. The best version of you would go to the gym when you say you're gonna, even when it's difficult. The best version of you would make the bed or whatever. And again, these are your own standards. This is your own life. Create your own rule book. My core values are different than yours. My core aspirations are different than yours, but you have your own. And that's the cool part about, I think, self-improvement and self-esteem and fulfillment. It really is an inner game. I mean, you could literally be there listening and watching and saying, oh, if I had Kevin and Alan's standards, I'd really feel great about it. Or, oh, I'd feel terrible about it. Honestly, a lot of that is kind of irrelevant. At the end of the day, all that matters is whether or not we're meeting our own standards. It's an inner game. Fulfillment and happiness and joy and fulfillment, it's all an inner game. And you have control over it. Take back control. Set the right amount of promises at the right level in order to get to the next level. And that's really what we want for all of you, because fulfillment, joy, and not pleasure, but keeping promises you make to yourself, even though it's hard, is fulfilling. And that's a positive bid that stacks on a positive bid that stacks on a positive bid. One discipline leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And then you look back a couple years and it's like, holy crap, like look how far I've come. If you improve by 1% per day for 365 days, you end up 37 times better. Can you imagine being 37 times better at something? It's totally doable. We've witnessed it. We've experienced it. We've done it. We've seen it countless times by people on the NLU team, clients. I mean, some of the clients I look back on that I've been working with for 3 years, and it's unbelievable. I mean, some of them have literally built multi-million-dollar businesses, and it's like, holy crap, at one point you didn't even know where to start, right? So start small.
Big things start small, as they say. Next Level Nation, I can hear my cats clawing at the door right now because it's dinner time, and it's just FYI, let me just throw this out there. It's 4:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We feed them at 5. They know time. It's wild. Yeah. They're very, very intelligent. Next Level Nation, one thing that Alan and I have seen very, very often is oftentimes people are not surrounded by a community of people who are going to help them get to their goals. And sometimes it's not even, they don't have the people to help them. They don't have people who understand. They don't have people who support. They have people who quite often are actually holding them back. That is why we created Next Level Nation, a completely free private Facebook group where you can be the most authentic version of yourself. You can talk about what you really value. You can talk about your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, and what you're struggling with. It is a safe place to be yourself. Link is in the show notes. We would love to have you, Alan, myself, and Sarah, and somebody from the team. I mean, there's always posts happening. So we will be in there every single day. As you know, at NLU, we are all about consistency, and that group is very consistent.
I remember when I worked in the fitness industry, it could be so overwhelming. It's like one article says this, one article says that, one study says this, and everyone's got an opinion. The problem is everyone has an opinion, but achieving your goals is a science. And it can be really difficult when everyone in the world has content and different perspectives, and it can be difficult to weave through this sort of tornado of information. Like what? And I said this to one of my clients once. I said, anyone can teach you how to be fit. Not everyone can get you to actually do it. The way we get people to actually do it is break it down so it's so simple that you can't miss it. And that's what our next monthly meetup is, how to become the healthiest version of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And when you Google how to be healthier, it can be so overwhelming. It can be unclear. You don't even know where to start. We will make it as simple as humanly possible. That's what we do at NLU. How do we take these big, audacious, amazing goals and dreams and help dream chasers actually start small and build? And that's what we're going to do. So you're not going to get called on. You do not have to participate. You can keep your camera off. You can keep your mic off, or you can participate. It's totally optional. You can raise your hand digitally or right in front of the camera. It's entirely up to you, but you do not have to. Participation is not required. Please register at the link below for our next monthly meetup. We do them every single month. This will be the 7th event that we've ever hosted, and you can register at the link below so we can get an accurate head count, and we hope to see you there.
And as always, that is totally free behind the scenes, and it is one of the rare things that we do that nobody else sees. So we would love to have you there. Next Level Nation, tomorrow for episode number 999. It is 1000 episode Eve. Our episode is These 9 Habits Will Change Your Life. So we have something that we are coming out with in the very, very near future, and we are going to dive into that, but we're going to take you through 9 of the most important habits that we believe will help you get the most next level life, and it's wild that
Kev,
we're
real quick.
Watch your mouth. Yeah.
Don't. I'm so sorry to
No, you're
interrupt you.
good.
999 for the next level 9.
Oh, yeah, but we
How
can't talk
cool
about. We can't talk
is
about the next
that?
level 9.
I
They
know
don't
we
know what
can't
it is
yet. We can't yet.
It's a whole thing.
Episode 999 for the next level 9. I'm just
Lucky
saying.
number 9.
I'm just saying.
And it's that's something special. That is something
Mm-hmm.
special to me. The fact that we're on 1,000 episode eve is just that is wild to me. It's been a journey for sure. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. We are grateful for each and every one of you. At NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow for episode number 999.
Please reach out.